Alright everyone, it's time to weigh in again on sort of the Russian summit thing in Helsinki with Trump and Putin, and Trump comes out and says, well, Vladimir Putin said that Russia didn't meddle in our election, and I believe him. He's saying that he's walked it back and said, well, I misspoke. No, you didn't. No, that's not misspeaking. What you did is tell the truth, say what you honestly believed, and you realize that even 90% of the Republicans don't want to hear it, because it's an era of lies that we live in. We live in an era in which evidence is not required as long as the claim sounds coherent. As long as the claim is coming from someone that people generally like, for political reasons, they'll accept it. Even if though truth is told by someone they don't like, they won't accept it even if there's evidence. We have been given, the American people, zero actual evidence of Russian collusion into our election beyond, hey, some Russians bought Facebook posts. They used money that kind of came from a subgroup within the Kremlin. It doesn't matter. Russian nationals buying Facebook ads doesn't mean anything, and nobody wants to discuss the other counterpart of that, which is during the primaries, they were also making pro-Bernie Sanders ads. So what the hell does that have to do with, hey, the Kremlin's trying to get Trump elected because Trump is, X, Y, and Z, he's Putin's puppet or whatever. It has nothing to do with it. We now have this other individual works apparently sort of hand in hand with the NRA. She's been indicted for being a Russian agent or something. It's like, the fact that she would talk to Russians isn't illegal. The fact that she would lobby with regards to the NRA, so the Russians want us to be well defended. The Russians want Americans to have more firearms so that they can never possibly stand a chance. So our military, by the way, will be more naturally adept because the people that'll tend to be signing up have probably already owned and used firearms. So Russia wants us to be strong. I see through your plans, Putin. My God, these fucking KGB agents, they're really crafty. No, that's stupid. I'll hazard a guess here. She's not going to face any time in jail. They're going to end up dropping charges because the Mueller probe and everything associated with it are falling apart. They have to go after. At this point, think of it. Someone who has done apparently nothing malevolent and lobbies for less gun control in the country. That's their idea of a major criminal. By the way, what the fuck does that have to do with the Trump campaign? It has nothing to do with it. The original, we were sold the Mueller probe by the government, the intel agencies, 7 of them, not all of them, the Democrats and some of the never-Trumpers and a few other people telling us, hey, the Russians colluded with members of the Trump campaign. So far, we have no evidence of that. We have Manafort laundered money 10 years ago for a pro-Russian group within Ukraine, of all places. That was before their recent fiasco with Crimea or even their revolution against their commie-backed government. It has nothing to do with it. The Manafort stuff has to do with money laundering. It also involves the Podesta group. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about the Russian nationals buying Bernie Sanders ads. And then Trump comes out today and he says, well, yeah, I'm glad that Fox News is being honest. They're showing the clips where I admit that there was Russian interference. Well, yeah, Russia sponsored several small groups of people in order to put out some Facebook ads. Someone who may have been Russian or had some ties to Russia or been paid by Russia as a third party may have done the DC leak stuff. As far as hacking, who needs it? Look, the Obama 08 was the password on the DNC servers. Not exactly the most secure thing in the world. The same servers, by the way, they never showed to the FBI. How can the FBI assert, yeah, it was hacked by Russians because a private third party without security clearance says so? What are you talking about? You should be investigating the servers. Didn't the Awan server end up going missing? I saw a report of that, but I can't vouch for it being true because it might have been one of those, questionable websites that's like, it's kind of news, but it's not always newsworthy. Kind of like a Sputnik. I can't remember where that was being reported. If it was like the National Review or something, I'm like, yeah, maybe it's true. I might want a little bit of corroboration, even if it comes from someone on the weird side of YouTube with a Reddit thread or something. At the very least, I want some corroboration. Now, Trump is lying here. You didn't misspeak. You told the truth, and you got backlash. The only ally he has at this point on the issue is Rand Paul. Even Amash isn't going to back him on that. Rand Paul is the only person Rand Paul has put all of his eggs in one basket. His political future is now tied to the hip with Trump's. And I think that that's a good way to go. I still think that Trump is setting up everything to make everyone look stupid that's opposing him long term. I look at his approval. I'll be talking about that in a moment. Next video. Of course, the big video of the day involves Obama, actually, of all people, and identity politics. It was a very funny statement that he made the other day. You come out and talk about Russia. Trump does. And he says, well, no, I was saying all along the Russians interfered. Well, you're parsing words a little bit. You're doing a little bit of word mincing there. What Trump has said is, yeah, there was Russian involvement, but it doesn't involve the Kremlin itself. Again, I have no evidence of that. Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence that Vladimir said, hey, you know, I'm giving you money, go make Facebook ads for Trump? By the way, if that was the limit of Russia's involvement, it didn't swing any votes, so who cares? And other people who are less hypocritical, they're pointing out, hey, the U.S. interferes in everyone's elections. Yes, we do. Constantly, in a pervasive manner, including among our allies. We don't even do this just, hey, we're going to fuck around with this state that we compete with. We're going to get someone who's weak and stupid into the post of leading their nation so that we can use them as a puppet and screw around with them and destroy their economy. This is going to be great. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be like Game of Thrones shit. No, we also fuck around with our allies. It's very clear, at the very least, on even the most surface level. World leaders weigh in on other elections, and they select their words carefully to try to tilt things in favor of who they want to be on the throne, so to speak. It happens all the time. Look, the Pope does it. The Pope, who leads a religion and only is a quasi-political figure anyway, constantly talks about foreign affairs and politics now. Didn't used to be that way, kind of less like Ratzinger didn't talk about anything. He was an absentee. John Paul before him. He would weigh in on politics. It's clear he was, Western sphere sort of Pope character. The Dalai Lama weighs in on stuff once in a while with regards to China or U.S. policy. But for the most part, these individuals, they try to shy away from it some. This Pope, no, he constantly, every day on Twitter, he's weighing in on some political event, or at least some ideological thing within the realm of politics and society. Happens all the time. The U.S. weighs in on Russia. The Russians weigh in on the U.S. Who cares? Facebook ads. Who uses Facebook? Zuckerberg came out and he finally identified a group of people he didn't want to immediately ban, and everyone jumped down his throat. Now, I guess he'll learn not to do that again in this era of moral panic with a bunch of soccer moms that think that there's a pervasive problem with hate online. No, there's not. But you'd certainly think that if you read BuzzFeed. If you read Salon, hell, at this point, if you watch Fox News, you'll probably think the same thing. There's a lot in common with these people. Now, Donald Trump didn't misspeak. He told the truth. He had no allies helping him because we're living in an era where evidence isn't required, truth is not liked, it is actively covered up, journalists don't do journalism, alt media actually does, but the mainstream media, the corporate media, no longer even reports the news. It's all tabloid-esque opinion pieces at this point. CNN is a tabloid. Fox News is a tabloid. MSNBC, Breitbart, all these, they're tabloids. They're not doing actual reporting anymore. All they do is sit there giving their fucking opinion. Oh, here's our opinion about the skewing behind the polls. No, just fucking tell people the poll numbers. The alt media is interesting. When we do stuff like that, it's fun. Because, that's sort of what we've been doing all along. You wanted to do straight reporting 10 years ago so people could just get the very dry, boring, but ultimately at least informative, unbiased, or less biased news. You don't do that anymore. Where can people go for that? They have to go to some primary source on the ground. And then we find out that all the alt media journalists that actually do go on the ground to go do first-hand reporting, they keep getting deplatformed or attacked. They get punched in the head, stuff like that. They have to travel with other people because they're constantly in fear of their lives. Meanwhile, in the wake of that last, wherever it was, the thing there where there was the media group that got shot up by that dude with a personal grudge, and they were coming out saying, no, never use the term fake news again. Oh my God, I'm so triggered, I feel so unsafe. It's like, nobody's talking about punching you when you go out in public for your political ideology. It's totally different. That's about all. Peace out.